Today I'll be ranking all of these Frackles. Now if you saw my videos from a couple years back when I was just 12 years old, you probably have seen these guys in many of my videos. And I've done voices of them, explanations of these guys, and all that. But today I'll do something a little bit different. Now, this is something I do regularly. Now, in my channel, I will be ranking every single one of these characters. Now, I won't be talking about the Frackles from that debuted before the Great Santa Claus Witch, or the other characters, I won't be talking about the Frackles that debuted before these guys, and they're not technically considered Frackles because they debuted way before these guys in the 60s. Now, if you don't know what the Great Santa Claus Witch is, it's it's an extremely rare 1970 movie. Of course, Jim Henson, and he decided that he will make a 1 hour long Christmas special about Santa Claus. And this is the villain right here, Cosmo Scam. Now, he's the main villain in the movie, and he has a bunch of Frackles like here. Now, there's some. Now, like I said, we won't be talking about the Muppets Frackles that debuted before this in the 60s, because those are not considered real Frackles. They're just other Muppet monsters. So, like I said, we're doing this from worst to best. Now, let's start off with the worst. And unfortunately, yes, I don't hate these characters. I like all these characters, but it's very difficult to rank these guys because I like all these characters, every individual. So, okay, why waste time? Let's get a start. Now, unfortunately, the first one on the list is this guy. He doesn't have a name, or it could be female because of her voice. And the reason why she's low on the list, she's also known as the Green Bird Frackle. And there's another one called Scoff that is blue. We'll get onto this one later. And the reason why she's no at the bottom of the list is because her voice is extremely irritating. Like, one of them's getting away. I don't know. Like, kind of like that. I don't want to do it too much because it's extremely high pitched. It's so irritating. But other than that, the design is so cool looking. It's kind of like a pelican a bit, kind of like a deformed pelican. It looks like a cross between a pelican or a vulture, somewhere between that. Yeah, but her voice is just so irritating that it's not great. Now, I had enough talking about this character. Let's move on to the next character. Now, this is a unique Frackle, but there's a good but now this one is a unique Frackle. Moving on to the next character. Now, this one is unique because if you see some of his scenes, you'll see him flying around, and he has wings. He kind of looks like he has a snake body with bat wings, and he has a long beak, which is, I love the design of this character. But the reason why he's the second lowest and he's such a low character is because we don't get to see much of the character, and he doesn't have much development. Though we do see him pretty frequently in the movie. Next up is this character. Now, this character, I don't like this character. Now, the reason why he's only higher is because I like his voice and all that, but I mean, he does have a purpose in the film. He is supposed to be the alarm Frackle, where Cosmo Scam opens up the door. There's like a little door next to one of the Frackle holes, and he says, "Alarm, alarm, ding, ding, ding," which I really like. That's why he's only slightly high on the list. But the reason why he's so low on the list is he's very scary looking. Just look at him. He's definitely the scariest of the Frackles I've seen. He's just terrifying. Let's move on to the next character. Next is this guy. Now, yeah. Wow, no named characters yet. Okay, so this character right here, he kind of looks like a peasant. Not peasant, pheasant. With all I think it's a fowl. Yeah, not a pheasant, a fowl with all the feathers around its neck. Now, the reason why it's so low on the list, it's this one is really unique. I mean, a lot of these Frackles here have bird beaks. And anyways, this character right here, there's not much explaining to do except he's just a generic character. Now, he does come out of a metal box, which the only time you'll see this character is that he comes out of the metal box, and we don't see him for the rest of the movie. What's next? Okay. Next, I am kind of sorry here to put this guy low on the list. I'm trying to find this character. There he is. So I am so sorry that Snickery is low on the list if you saw my videos. Now, if you don't know, okay, if you watch the movie, I know very little people have watched the movie, but if you have, if you watch my channel, you'll probably see a bunch of these guys in the background. There's also, these guys are also called Snurfs, and basically what Snurfs are these long neck Muppets, and they have little heads on them. But Snickery is one of a kind, and there's a lot of Snickeries in the movie, and the reason why he's somewhat low on the list, okay, the reason why he's a bit low on the list is because he's kind of a generic character. I mean, there's a bunch of these characters that we see in every single scene that Cosmo Scam appears in the cave. Though he doesn't reform as a good guy, unlike other Freckles, but this guy just got too many screen time. But all these Freckles design are amazing except for this guy. But still, there's a I told you the reason why this character is kind of low, because there's so many of these guys that are completely duplicated around the cave, and that is why he's low on the list. Okay, next up is this guy. So, this is a purple spider character, and he has a beak with two fangs. I think these are the ears right there. And we kind of see him in the backgrounds for a little bit of time until he was kicked away by Cosmo just so he can alarm the other Freckle, the alarm Freckle, the creepy one. Now, anyways, this guy is low on the list for good reason. He's not much of a character that we get into. He's not really much of an interesting character. All these guys have cool designs, but that's pretty much it. Let's see who's next. Next is this guy. Now, there's a very good reason why he's higher in the list, and that is because there's this. I love the design of this character because he has a owl face with a spider body. Now, this guy was actually used. I think he was used next for the Turkey Hollow something. Turkey Hollow. It's another Jim Henson product. It's another Jim Henson production. But anyways, this character, I love this character because he has an owl face with a spider body. That's why I like this character so much. But we all know why, like I said, that's why he's pretty low on the list. Now, same for this guy. Now, even though the wiki says that he's pink, he's actually purple. He's a snake character. He looks like a little snake. And I know this is not a good image. There's no good image of the character, but so basically what he is a very long snake. Now, like I said, he's a long snake character. He has spikes, and he has a very long pointed mouth with a lot of, I think, 6 teeth in there. So he has no teeth in the lower jaw, but he has 6 teeth on the upper jaw, and he has very angry eyebrows. And now angry eyebrows is something that is extremely common with Muppet monsters way back in the day, from the very early Jim Henson products to somewhere during the end of the Muppet Show, the classic Muppet Show. So, I love this character's design. No. They kind of like him. But, still, like I said so many times, Now, next up is a unique character, him. Now, this guy is actually the costume used for Fig, for obvious reasons, if you watch the movie. So, you see, he has angry eyebrows, which is why he's a Muppet monster. Not all Muppet monsters have all these angry eyebrows, but most of them do. He has a big beak, and he has two horns. So basically, he's a guard Frackle who is in charge to and watch of the elves. As he's this is the image right here where he's um what was he doing again? The elves were calling out to distract this guy. They were giving him a distraction so the elves could escape. They were disguised as rocks. So I love this character's design, but what makes him unique is that he's a big Frackle. Yeah, he's a full-bodied Muppet suit, which makes this guy high on the list somewhat. I think he's in the middle of the list, I think. So that's why this character is higher on the list. Next is a pretty bland character, but also really cool. Next is the Matchbox Frackle, which now not to be confused with the Five Goes West Miss Kitty, the very beautiful cat, but Miss Kitty is a Muppet monster that is purple with sharp teeth. Now this one is actually a lot scarier than the Miss Kitty in the Muppet Show. Now this is not Miss Kitty. This is the Muppet used before her, or the Matchbox Frackle. He doesn't really have a name. The reason why is because he has angry eyebrows, though his teeth are a lot smaller. That's why. But what makes him unique is that though he doesn't get much screen time and he doesn't really get a lot of development, this character right here, this character, because he has this big match. It doesn't even look like a match at all. It looks more like a torch, and he gives it out to Cosmo Scam. There is this one comedic scene that makes this guy really interesting, just because of that comedic scene. But this is just my opinion. Next is Boppity. And the reason why now we're getting to the higher characters, the main characters. So Boppity is now we're getting to the characters that actually have development in them. I love Boppity's design. You see the big bat-like ears and the big beak on him. And his design is so much better than he was in the Muppet Show, because in the Muppet Show he looks a lot less scary and he has a tan a tan tint on the beak. This one looks so much better with the yellow eyes and there's no tint. Though it's less realistic, but it's so much better this way. I love the Santa Claus Switch Freckles better than the Muppet Show characters because they're a lot scarier and give all that chillish look to them. So the reason why he's higher is because he gets to move on to the Muppet Show. Now, there's not much I can say about this character. Next up is Ftig. Now, Thog is much higher in the list because this character does not appear in the Muppet Show and he's never seen again. Now, this one's kind of a sad story. There's no real history behind this character. This is a character, unlike the others, that you don't get to see much, but at least you'll know the character after watching it. So, Ftig is the partner of Thog, who is the biggest Muppet, the blue big Muppet. So, but Thig is a little shorter, but he's a little more intimidating with the big teeth. Now, if you see differences with this guy, you'll probably see there are a lot of similarities and differences. You see, they put a beak, they put different eyebrows, and they removed the teeth. They put the beak on his nose. I think they put extra googly eyes on, put eyebrows, and they put horns on. So I think, yeah, Fig right here is not even. Yeah, they're intimidating only by size. Fig is probably one of the least intimidating big Muppets out there. He looks like Sweetums. Anyways, this character, the reason why he's a little low is because he doesn't get much development, except that he's best friends with Thog and they always having a friendship towards each other. But other than that, but I love his design and all that, like all these characters, but still. He doesn't move on to the Muppet Show, which makes him a little low on the list, unfortunately. Next is Snively. Now this one's this one's one of the weaker ones out of the really good characters. So Snively here, or he becomes Droop much later on in the Muppet Show. He doesn't really have a lot of change except that I think they shaved down his bushy eyebrows. But the biggest problem with the character is that, I mean, the reason why he's higher than Ftig is because he moves on to the Muppet Show. And Ftig is a mysterious character, which is why he's higher than Boppity. But the reason why this character is a little lower is because instead of his cool, angry looking eyes and very scary, intimidating looking eyes, when they get into development to the present day with Snively, who is now Droop, he has very sad, saggy, and there are saggy purple eyelids that cover up his angry, intimidating looking ones, which is why he's a little low. But other than that, I love this character, and unlike other Frackles who have beaks, this one has a long trunk, which is super, super unique. All Frackles are unique in their own way. Next is Gloat. So Gloat is very high in the list because this character had a lot of evolution over the years and does gain a little more intimidation over the years and does have a very, very big history. And also has a lot of screen time in this great kind of Santa Claus Switch, which is why he is high in the list. Now, Gloat here, he's intimidating by his angry looking eyes with his green bushy eyebrows. But when he moves on, he loses these eyebrows, but then he gains teeth, and it doesn't matter which teeth he gains. I think he gains more and more and more as the seasons go on in the Muppet Show. So this is the reason why this character is so high in the list, because he had a lot of development and he had so much scenes in the Great Santa Claus Switch, which is why he's such a high character. Now I think we're getting into the top 4. He is at the bottom of the top 5. Now we're getting into number 4. Number 4 is Lothar. Now he is a dragon character with, I mean, he has saggy eyebrows, which makes him intimidating. But unlike Droop, they're not depressed. They look pretty funny. They look really silly and goofy. He kind of looks like a gharial, which is a crocodile from India. So the reason why this character is so high is that he has a lot of funny moments in the movie. But sadly, I think he appears I think it's a Muppet Show episode or some kind of Jim Henson product where he looks a lot different from this into some kind of dragon background character. But if you watch the movie, he's so unique because he doesn't have any legs. He just has big skeletal-like arms with clothing around it, which is something I love. He's such a comedic character, and he's Cosmo's assistant, which makes him so high on the list. This is the perfect example of being number 4 on the list. Now we're getting to the top 3. Next is Snarl, and the reason why he's number 3 for such good reason. I'll explain to you. Now, if you look at this character a little closely, you will probably right away recognize this character's design. He is the debut of one of the most infamous Muppets ever to this day. Gonzo. Yes, that's right. This is the first debut of Gonzo right here. Now, Gonzo was just a little little Frackle that is a little smaller from the others, I think, who gives out cigars to Cosmo. But as time would move on, so I think there's this one actor that he really liked this character, and then he decided to move on to be to the famous Muppet that we all know and love today. which is exactly why this character is number 3 on the list. Now, number 2. Number 2 is Thog. So there is a pretty good reason why he's number 2 on the list. First of all, he has a big history where he moves on to this to be the biggest, most intimidating, but at the same time, he is so gentle. He is so nice, and he's so funny in the movie where he's dim-witted. Now, he may have these sad, droopy eyes, but he's intimidating by size, which is why this character is so good. And he does have a very good history in the Muppet Show, where he becomes a real Muppet star, unlike his partner Fig, which is why he's number 2 on the list, and he's the biggest Muppet ever. This is why. Now for number 1 on the list. Number 1 on the list is Snake Frackle. So, Snake Frackle, there is... Now, you may be surprised. Are you wondering, why is this specific character number 1 on the list? Well, a lot of reasons. He gets to be a Muppet star for the whole 70s, for one decade, at least only one decade, I think. He gets to be in the whole entire 70s until he decided to change into another Frackle. Now, I think he has the best design of all the Frackles, because unlike having Frackles who have birds and whatnot, he has teeth as well. He makes him look intimidating, which is good. He has a snake-like body and I think he has arms as well. Yes, he has arms, which makes him more mutant-like. And the stripes make it so interesting. The stripes make him so intriguing as well, with the normal lime feathers to these turquoise feathers. And no, not feathers, fur. This is probably the best Frackle in my opinion. Amazing design. Though it doesn't really have good moments in the movie, memorable moments. He also has not just amazing design, but I love this. I don't know. He's just good. Period. He's just amazing. Which is why this guy is number 1 on the list. Oh, I forgot to mention this guy. No, I think he would be next to this guy, and I think he would be somewhere around this era right here, the Garfunkel era. So I think he's really cool. His voice is, at least his voice is not annoying as him, her, slash her, and he does play a good role. I think he has a little more roles in the Muppet Show than this guy, but I think he's a pretty decent character. Now, this is quite a long video, I know, but my videos are usually like this, 20 minutes or so, 10 minutes or longer. My videos are normally like that. So, just like, subscribe. I always say, just like, subscribe, go.